That's why you're drained. That's why you keep asking for signs. And God is like, baby, the sign is the chaos. It is a recipe for disaster. It's because you're trying to align with someone who has never aligned with you in the first place. He thought his granny was going to change me. But guess what? My mind is strong. Okay. Facts, receipts, timelines. That's what's required to even convince me, to even give me a train of thought, to change my mind. This is the Ever Airwaves Think podcast, brought to you by Live One Company, where we explore ideas that challenge, comfort, and clarify. I'm Liv, and in every episode, we break down life's complexities with intellect, insight, and a touch of curiosity. All right, we're on air. I'm not here for religious wars because we're not fitting to argue about whose God is the right God. Ain't no shame in my game about the coming Messiah, the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I will not be denying him before anyone because God will not be denying me. I know the word, okay? Off the rip, I had to clear that up. But if you are a strongly opinionated person, cool, so am I. But respectfully, I will not be tussling with you regarding my faith and beliefs because that's not what this is about. And we can actually have discord, right? We can agree to disagree and speak intellectually and keep it soft and keep it cute. What I had to share in this episode about being unevenly yoked with someone will blow your mind. And there will be some of you that will be all the way locked in on what I have to say, and it will have an impact on you and the decisions you are going to make in your relationship. By the end of this year, some of you will be a brand new person and have a brand new mindset and will be activated in you for a lifetime. Let me say this, don't be like me and learn the hard way, because one time, child, at 18, 19, 20 years old, I was dating men that were not of my faith. I was like, oh, yes, he looked good, he fine, yes, we can make this work. Let him entertain me, let him wine and dine me. We're going to make this work because I'm going to share with him what I know, and he's just going to believe me, and he's going to end up coming over to my faith. Yeah. No, was not going to work, did not work, will not work. Our beliefs and values were not the same at all. A mess, Lord. Even one of them was raised in the beliefs that they were raised in, but they weren't even living according to their religious disciplines and values, but had the whole audacity to have their grandma lock me in her home for 6 hours and basically have this religious intervention with me and causing me to almost miss my flight back home. It was a messed up vacation. But anyway, baby, she was not fitting to break me, okay? My mom was so rooted in how I was raised. She could not break my spirit. And even after 6 hours of trying to, and her house was cold, like she literally turned the heat off in the wintertime. I guess that was supposed to kind of have this impact on me. But honey, it did not work. Okay, she tried it, try somebody else. But I was absolutely not falling for it. Baby, I could not be broken. I know a winner when I see one. And that's me. Yep, you want to fight? I can fight too. Restraint, not backing up, not letting down, saying no, standing my ground. Yeah, that's my middle name. Try me if you want to, but you will lose. Facts, receipts, timelines. That's what's required to even convince me, to even give me a train of thought, to change my mind. And none on his end could be produced. None. By him or his granny. Grandma, don't you got better things to do to me trying to lock people up in your basement to convince them to do what you want to do? Oh, he couldn't change my mind. He couldn't make me have his beliefs and values, so he had to stick his granny on me. He thought his granny was going to change me. But guess what? My mind is strong. Okay, you want to fight, granny? We can fight all day. We can tussle here, there, and everywhere. But when you are rooted in your faith and your mind is made up, it is what it is. Ain't no switching. Nobody can tell me any different, especially when I'm LOX, living off experience. When I know that I'm on the right side of history and what works for me is working for me. Clock it. I can't say his beliefs and values were wrong, but what I do know is mine were right. My confidence level was on a 10, and that's when I knew things were not going to work. Ain't no changing my mind, ain't no twisting my arm to get me to do what you want to do and go about things the way that you want to do them. I took the time to hear him and his grandma out, but the facts weren't facting. I did my research. I saw what I needed to see, and what they were throwing out there was not adding up for me. I respect if that's how you were raised, but for me, I'ma stick beside me. I'ma stick beside what I know. The audacity to put his grandma on me. Who does that? This is what happens when you're unevenly yoked with someone. You will lose. they will lose. The relationship will lose. Before we go deeper, I want to take a quick moment to celebrate something with you. All the countries tuning into this podcast from anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube. I want to let you know that the 2025 stats for Ever Airwaves Think podcast are in. And in 2025, you made this a binged show. You guys binged the heck out of Season 1, Episode 8, Black Women Date the White Man. Season 1, Episode 9, Why He Won't Marry You. Premiere Episode 3, Relax, God is in Control. Premiere Episode 1, I Broke Up with My Boyfriend and He Came Back. And so many more episodes. You guys are still replaying them over and over again. And so many more. This show was labeled an instant hit show, and you made it a 2025 talked about show. This podcast has hit 6 of the 7 continents. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Hopefully we can get listeners from Antarctica. Come on, Antarctica, let's get on the map so we can come full circle globally. Okay. Big ups to the US of A. Y'all showed out. Charlotte, Greensboro, Atlanta, and all my Georgia cities, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, New York, and Brooklyn. BK always stands up. LA, St. Louis, Phoenix, San Francisco, Jersey, Virginia, Vegas, Portland, Chicago, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Florida, and so many more. Minnesota, I see you. I love how y'all rep your city. My prayers are with you. Nigeria, listen, y'all show up deep every single week. I love you. Thank you for being here. My South Africans, Johannesburg, I love you down. And to Canada, the UK, Japan, Australia, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Italy, France, Spain, Portugal, Romania, Trinidad, and Tobago. Y'all blew my mind. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are a blessing in my life for tuning in, replaying your favorite episodes, and showing up for this podcast. Keep following, subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing. Your engagement is the small thing that helps this labor of love grow. I love you for that. And there was this other time I let a friend hook me up with this guy that she was dating, his cousin. And I felt like I was doing my friend a solid. No, I definitely was doing my friend a solid because it was giving her opportunity to be able to see the guy she was dating more if I was dating his cousin. But anyway, because the guy, apparently he had saw me before at someone else's birthday party, but I had never even noticed him. So he had like put in a word to my friend. From day one on our first date, we went out to eat and he wanted to tell me what I could not order off the menu, off the jump. And I'm like, I'm not about to stop eating this or that because that's what you believe in. So I had to end up like dropping some powerful knowledge on him that my dad shared with me about the discrepancies in his faith and just how we were not going to mix. And that really brought him to silence when I did that. He had no comeback after that. I literally just stopped taking his calls. It took about a month or so, but he finally caught on. It was no more. But I'm going to tell you, it is not worth it. Let me tell you why it will never, and I mean never, 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 ever, ever, ever work when you're a believer of this and he's a believer of that, or even nothing at all, or your ways and his ways of life and values are as far from the North America is to Antarctica, right? Trust me, this is to be 100% fact. Even if there's some resolve between you and him and you go a long time, you're like getting along, like you go along to get along, you will never be fully at peace. There will always be some type of unrest, and you can kiss your soft life living goodbye because we are soft life living over here and thriving women. We just can't have this. We cannot have this at all. So let me put you on game. All right, ladies, let's talk. You ever been in a situation where you're doing everything in your power to make a relationship work, but it's like pushing a boulder up a hill? That's what being unevenly yoked feels like. We're diving into this whole unevenly yoked situation, not just spiritually, but emotionally, intellectually, and even financially. And don't think for a second I'm here to sugarcoat this. We're going to dissect it all, the power of beliefs, the science behind compatibility, and even a little Bible wisdom. But trust me, this isn't a sermon. This is real life. To be unevenly yoked with someone, let's just get to the root of the word. It really comes from farming. You pair two oxen of the same strength to plow a field, and if one is weaker, the stronger one ends up dragging the load by itself. Now, in relationships, this can play out in so many ways. One person might want marriage while the other just wants to vibe, and one might be all about saving money while the other spends like they're in a Beyonce video. And yes, spiritually, one might have a deep faith while the other side eyes the idea of prayer altogether. It's all uneven. So this brings me to Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Whitney, the voice of a generation, the epitome of class and grace early in her career. Okay, the I want to dance with somebody. Then Bobby Brown, Mr. New Edition, but also Mr. Bad Boy. They say I'm nasty. I really don't care. That's my prerogative. Okay. You know, I had to give you a little songy song, but don't be laughing at my chops or lack thereof, because you know I can sing, but no, I really cannot sing. But from the outside, their worlds clash hard. Whitney grew up in the church, and then she had that spiritual foundation. Bobby, let's just say his career was a little more street, and I'm not knocking Bobby, okay, because I love me a street guy sometime, all right, a little thug in you, but he had his own set of talents, but their lifestyles and priorities were night and day. And when you dig into their story, you see how their differences like created a lot of tension. Whitney was trying to balance her superstar life, her faith, and her marriage, but she was also caught up in Bobby's chaos. And then eventually their relationship unraveled, and tragically, it left a lasting impact on Whitney's life and legacy. But just to be clear, since the air was cleared, she let Bobby take the ride for him giving her drugs. At the end of the day, it was actually her brother. That all came out a couple years ago. Neither here nor there. What I'm trying to say is that, was Bobby entirely to blame for their chaos and wreck of a marriage? No. But when two people are not aligned, especially on big picture stuff like values and lifestyle, it is a recipe for disaster. Stop trying to save a man. Stop thinking, oh, he'll change for me. I'm gonna need you to get up out of this save him syndrome. You are not his mama, his therapist, or his personal savior. And let's be real, changing a man is above you. It's above me now, okay? Like literally, God said only I can change the heart of a man. So if you ever tried to fix a man and ended up drained, tired, and questioning your own worth, that's because you're trying to play a role that wasn't assigned to you. Listen, if his beliefs, values, and life goals don't align with yours, don't even waste your time. He is not your DIY project. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. Okay? Now listen, because I know somebody's thinking, okay, but where does the Bible even talk about this? Baby, the Bible been talking about this. Let me give you the receipt real quick. Modern day translation. Samson and Delilah, woo, that was a man with purpose tied up with a woman who did not care about his calling at all. He was chosen, she was plotting. That's what happens when you're yoked to someone who's connected to your weakness, not your destiny. Then you've got Solomon, wise, favored, blessed, and still got pulled off track because he connected himself to people who didn't share his faith or his values. And if you go read, you will learn they didn't drag him down overnight. It was slow, subtle, little compromises. Tell me that's not how some relationships work today. Ahab and Jezebel, listen, that was chaos partnering with chaos. No alignment, no accountability, no shared foundation. Just vibes and destruction. And I know y'all know some Jezebels in 2026. As I was saying, some of y'all know exactly what this looks like right now when you scope the scene. And Esau married women who didn't share his family beliefs, and the whole household felt the tension. Because when you're not aligned spiritually, emotionally, or morally, everybody pays for it. So when scriptures talk about being unequally yoked, it's not just church talk. It's literally God saying, don't tie your life to someone who's walking in the opposite direction of your purpose. And that's the same thing we're dealing with today. Different values, different beliefs, different vision, different lifestyle, different spiritual foundation. It's the same story, just like iPhones, TikTok, and better lighting. So Queen, if you ever wondered why a relationship felt heavy, confusing, draining, or like you were losing yourself, it might not be that you were doing something wrong. It might be that you were yoked to someone who was never aligned with you in the first place. And listen, I know some of y'all are out there messing with people you have no business being tied to. I said it, I'm calling you out. You over there trying to make it work with somebody who can't even spell alignment, let alone live it. How shameful. You're praying for peace while dating a hobosexual. That's hobosexual. A whole bum living off of you with no beliefs, no goals, no aspirations, no nothing. Just using you up for free housing, free loving from you while they love bomb you for rapid progression and upward mobility. Girl, bye. Red flag, red flag, red flag, my love. If you don't get up out my face with that, do better. You're asking God for clarity while entertaining confusion on Friday nights. You're begging for purpose while texting somebody who doesn't even have a plan for tomorrow. Sis, it's not working because it was never supposed to work. Let that sink in, please. Deep, ocean deep, schools of fish deep, the Indian Ocean deep. Please let it sink in. Come on, let's Titanic this. Because I'm going to need you to use your brain. I'm going to need you to be smarter than this. You're trying to build a future with somebody who's still trying to figure out who they are or not. You're trying to be equally yoked with somebody who's not even equally present. And deep down, you know it. That's why you're tired. That's why you're drained. That's why you keep asking for signs. And God is like, baby, the sign is the chaos. So if you're wondering why it feels heavy, why it feels off, why it feels like you're dragging the whole relationship on your back, it's because you're trying to align with someone who has never aligned with you in the first place. And listen, alignment isn't about perfection. It's about peace. It's about choosing someone who's walking in the same direction as you, not dragging you backwards. You deserve that kind of partnership, friend. And don't ever say I didn't teach you anything, because I just did. You're welcome. Let me squeeze on up in here with a word from this episode's sponsor. Well, I am the sponsor. Yes, yours truly, the author of my new book, The 100 Commandments of a Black Queen, available everywhere books are sold. My daily book of soul-quenching affirmations will awaken the inner queen in you. I will have you gagged, because with each page, you will stand tall and own your day with a renewed mindset, audacious purpose, and emotional resilience. Sis, you will be telling them to find someone else to play with when you read my book. I am so grateful for the success of this book. The 5-star rating and the beautiful reviews, y'all make me want to cry sometimes. And just for that, I am going to read you a page from my book. Commandment 37. It is mandated. I conquer every temptation. Royal conduct is in my bloodline. I am not influenced by ideas, activities, or things that are not tied to my purpose. Inducement does not have access to me. This copper-kissed queen's court stays on guard. Access denied. I stay dripping in purpose. Royal, belonging to families of kings and queens. So, what's a given, ladies? It's giving you better go buy my new book. Queens, it will change your life in an unimaginable and incredible way. And this is not a threat, it's a promise. Please go pick up my new book today, The 100 Commandments of a Black Queen, by me, yours truly, Livy Live, available everywhere books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Blackwell's, and many more bookstores and shops. My links are in the description. Now, go put your crown on, girl. That's right, tilt it up straight. You better own it. Girl, let me break this down in a way that makes sense for where we are today. Because when people hear unequally yoked, they automatically think it's just a spiritual thing. And yes, it is spiritual, but it's also very practical. It shows up in real life every day. Being unequally yoked in 2026 looks like this. It's when one person is planning a future and the other person is planning the weekend. It's when one of you is building and the other one is drifting. It's when one of you is growing and the other is comfortable staying exactly the same. It's financial too. One person is saving, budgeting, trying to build stability, and the other person is out here living for the moment. Spending like tomorrow doesn't exist. That's unevenly yoked. It's emotional. One person communicates, apologizes, takes accountability, and the other shuts down, deflects, or blames. One is handling, the other is repeating patterns. That's unevenly yoked. It's lifestyle. One person values peace, the other thrives on chaos. One wants a soft life. Hello, okay, soft life me up. But the other brings stress every time they walk in the room. That's unevenly yoked. It's values. One person values honesty, the other values not getting caught. One values family, the other values freedom. One values commitment, the other values options. That's unevenly yoked. It's priorities. One person makes time, the other makes excuses. Is that your man, your man, your man? One shows up, the other shows up only when it's convenient. That's unevenly yoked. And listen, it's purpose. One person is intentional, grounded, spiritually aligned, and the other is just out here floating, hoping life works itself out. That's unevenly yoked, sis. Now, let me say this too, because somebody needs to hear this. Sometimes people try to force a relationship to work, not because it's healthy, not because it's aligned, but because they're attached to the idea that that person or the aesthetic of being with them or the fear that they'll never find another. So they stay, they fold, they shrink, they sacrifice themselves into a miserable behind closed doors life while putting on a happy, picture perfect performance for the public. Smiling on Instagram, laughing at brunch, posting my man, my man, my man, but suffering in silence at home. And listen, this is the kind of relationship I pray never finds me. Thank God for my man, my man, my man, my husband. And I hope it never finds you, because without alignment, real alignment, things will get ugly. Not might, not maybe, will. If your core values don't match, if your beliefs don't match, if your faith isn't aligned, if your vision for life is pulling in two different directions, you're either going to lose yourself trying to hold it together, or you're going to have to come together and align all the way through mind, heart, spirit, lifestyle for it to actually work. But forcing it, faking it, folding yourself into someone you're not, that's not love. That's not love, queen. That's survival. And you deserve more than that. If anything I just said touched a nerve, that's not judgment. That's clarity. That's God showing you where alignment is missing. Get in alignment, sis. Beliefs are powerful, y'all. They're tied to the heart. And just like I said, only God has the power to change the heart of a man, because God knows the heart of a man. And Dr. John Gottman, have you ever heard of him? He's a psychologist from the University of Washington, and he's known for his research on relationships. He says that shared values and mutual respect are foundational for any successful relationship. And according to his studies, when couples have core value misalignments, it creates conflict that's nearly impossible to resolve. Hello? Like, what have I been saying to you this whole time? If your man believes, for example, that spending every weekend at the club, strip club, whatever club, it's his God-given right, but you're over here trying to build a peaceful home life, baby, you're in for a headache. And no amount of compromise is going to fix a fundamental difference like that, unless you doing the compromising and you going to the club with him and making it rain. Settle on this. Only God has the power to change the heart of a man. If a man really wanted to align with you, he would. If he wanted to pray with you, he would. And if he wanted to build with you, he would. But what we're not going to do is sit around waiting for him to decide whether or not he's on the same page as you. Life is too short, and we're not here for wasted potential. Because again, if he wants to, he will. And if he's not, he won't. Look, love is amazing, but it's not enough to carry a relationship. You need alignment, period. Without it, you're just two people pulling in opposite directions. And this is why I think in some countries they have laws about compatibility. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm not also telling you that it's wrong. I'm just saying what it is. In India, some of their arranged marriages often consider astrological compatibility. And in Japan, people often seek partners who align with their family and cultural values. While we might not have those formal systems in America, the concept is the same. Compatibility matters. It's not just about love. It's about building a life together without constant conflict. The solution to avoid getting into unevenly yoked relationships is to know yourself. You have to be clear on your values, your beliefs, and your non-negotiables. If you don't know what you stand for, you will settle for anything. And you also need to ask the right questions early on. Ask those deep questions. What does he believe about money, faith, family, career? That's a given. You want to know up front. And don't wait until you're emotionally invested to find out y'all are on opposites. Watch for consistency. Actions, they always speak louder than words. If his actions don't align with what he says he believes, run fast. You need to Usain Bolt. Ladies, that is it for today's episode. Remember, love should feel like a partnership, not a tug of war. And unevenly yoked relationships, it might look good at first. He's cute, he's fun, I can change him. But trust me, I'm telling you from my own experience, they are not worth the pain or the headache. Don't do it, run, turn around. Find somebody else. Keep your standards high, your boundaries firm, and your heart open to the right kind of love. Until next time, keep thriving in your soft life. Peace. Thanks for listening to the Ever Airwaves Think podcast. If today's episode made you elevate, share it with someone who needs it. Until next time, keep questioning until you have those answers. I'm out.